Welcome back to VFR Radio, where we talk about everything radio. And today, what we're going to be continuing on is talking about Doordash, attire, and safety protocols. Now, this protocol of safety is not by Doordash, this is by me, myself, my experience, and the things that I've experienced to witness and how to avoid things. Because the best thing, I forgot who quoted this, but the best thing anyone can do in life is learn from others, especially if other people have made the mistakes already. You want to learn from those mistakes before making the mistake. That's the point of learning from other people's mistakes. So with the attire, just going back to what I was saying yesterday, it's really important that you wear something that's visible so people know what your intentions are and why you're showing up, either to the merchant or the customer. This is really important. It can possibly save your life. There are stories out there that DoorDashers were mistaken, or, for mistaken identity, they were, again, mistaken for someone else when they were indeed a DoorDasher. Now, you see other companies like Domino's, Panera Bread, Walmart. For the majority of the time, people do wear uniforms because when you walk into an establishment, they're representing the establishment, the business. Now, the fundamental thing about being visible and wearing red in general, I wear red every time I'm out dashing. I have my red bag. This way I'm visible when I go onto someone's property, because you never know, you might step up to the wrong, you might go onto the wrong property. Someone's like, yo, who the heck are you? Yada, yada. The reason why I say that is because a lot of people do not wear, the majority of people that I've seen and dashers that I've spoken to do not wear attire where they're, one, visible, two, actually representing the company. And to top that, they don't even have, a DoorDash bag. So in order to avoid confusion, it's very important that you do come out visible and show people that, hey, I am here for this service. Especially when you're walking into a merchant, a lot of the times the merchant would just think you're another customer and they won't prioritize you, which you should be prioritized when you walk into a merchant and the order was placed about 10 minutes prior from you showing up. You should be prioritized because that customer was there before the customer that just walked in the door behind you, virtually. Now, the thing with the red shirts as well, when you're going on to the right property and you don't represent yourself as a DoorDasher, but, the people are expecting it, it makes some people uneasy and uncomfortable, especially if you look like you just rolled out of bed. The video that I did yesterday, I just got tired of seeing the same thing. People walk in to the merchant, flip-flops and socks on, dirty shorts, dirty shirt, dirty pants, looking like they just literally rolled out of bed. It is just unprofessional on so many levels. You're still employed, you're still working for yourself. Yes, you are a third party, but you're just showing that you have no pride in what you're doing. Now, me, I'm a very successful dasher. I consider myself to be lucky because of the area that I'm in as well. But, it's not just luck. It is hard work. I do work really hard. I squeeze in as many deliveries as possible in the time that I'm dashing. I try to stay busy as much as possible, even if I'm picking up a $2 order or a $10 order. But going back into the whole safety protocol, you're walking into buildings, offices, you're knocking on people's doors, not all the time. Most of the time, people want you to just leave the order at their door. But a lot of the times, sometimes, you will be knocking on someone's door, handing it to them. The last thing they want to see is a stranger at their door, because it doesn't show the picture on DoorDash and who you're encountering with. They look through the peephole, look through the glass, they feel uncomfortable. They're like, yo, who is this dude? Is this my dasher? He has no bag. It's raining outside. It's windy. It's like, there's no sense of urgency when it comes to taking care of the next customer from what I'm experiencing. And if you are a dasher that doesn't have a red bag, I'd suggest that you try to get some kind of warmer and try Red. Look, you could go to the thrift shops, you could order it online on Amazon. They're not expensive. If you really believe in, doing this DoorDash thing full time or even part time, and you want to be an effective dasher where people see you, they respect you, they'll feel more comfortable sending you into their office environment instead of just leaving it outside at the office door. Uh, that trend should be something to be considered, especially for your safety. Now, thinking about safety, just a few tips and tricks. When you're rolling up to the merchant, I see a lot of people leaving their cars ran. I leave my car running sometimes, not all the time. And even when I show up to the same place that I would, let's say a tropical smoothie, if I pull up to a tropical smoothie in a safe center, a relatively safe center, I'm going to leave my car running, go inside. I can see my car right through the window. Everything is good. But there'll be some instances where there's too many cars and too many people around, and I just feel suspicious. I follow my intuition. I'll lock my car up, go inside, even if I am 10 feet away from the door. It doesn't matter. I try to stay safe as much as possible. Now, people are going to see you. They see there's a lot of third-party services out there, so it's really hard to distinguish in who's who. If you're wearing a red shirt and red bag, obviously you're representing DoorDash, especially with the D on the bag. So to stay safe in those situations, you just got to be aware of all your surroundings. When you're pulling into the lot, you should be eyes on in every vehicle, everybody, because we're living in a jungle. We're living in a concrete jungle. This world is becoming more unsafe as time goes by, and we need to be very vigilant. We have to be vigilant in our actions and what we're doing. Paying attention, know your phone. Like if you have your phone, you see the dash is coming up, you see the name, you see where the address is going, you should take a mental memory of that and try your best to put your phone away and stop walking with it in your hands, like trying to do things, because sooner or later someone's going to catch on to that and you're going to get got. All right, not paying attention will put you in a very dangerous situation. I recommend that anyone goes to John Correa's website and his YouTube channel. It's called Active Protection, and he talks about saving your ASP, APS, Active Protection. I forget what the last word was for, but you definitely want to have knowledge on saving your behind and being extremely vigilant, especially if you're a young lady out there. Me, I'm a big guy, so the chances are going to be less than the next person that doesn't look as big and strong as I do, because I am a big guy. I'm 6'3", 240 pounds. So I'm not going to be the easy target. However, there have been stories, like with the Uber Eats driver or Doordash. I forget exactly what driver it was and what third-party service it was, but he got snatched up by apparently a serial killer. And these things are no joke, and it shouldn't be lightly handled. Now, when you go into the restaurant, you get your food, and you go into your car, lock your doors right away. I mean, like, lock your doors immediately. There's no need for your door to be unlocked, especially when you're sitting with product in your vehicle. You can get got, carjacked, whatever the case is. Whoever is trying to do evil, evil doesn't sleep, evil doesn't take a break. It's always watching out for you. And once you put your guard down and put yourself in a vulnerable situation, like putting yourself in the vehicle with the product, phone in hand, not paying attention to your surroundings, just glued to your phone, and suddenly your door goes flying open. Always lock your door. Now, when you're driving to the customer and the consumer, when you're pulling up, again, pay attention to your surroundings and what's going on. Don't just park anywhere. Park in a specific spot where you can get yourself out of a very dangerous situation. Yes, it can happen. Is it going to happen to every dasher? No. I've been in some scary situations as a dasher, and I'm going to tell you right now, again, I am prepared to the best of my ability to protect myself and to flee situations, because I practice it a lot. And I still get nervous in situations where, I have to second guess, what I'm going to do. I've had to cancel an order, when I arrived because I just refused to put myself in a situation which I felt very uncomfortable. There was a car behind me. I'll tell the story another time. But I felt very uncomfortable and I got out of there. I returned the food and that was that. I didn't get penalized for it. I felt genuinely like I even called the authorities because I was like, you guys need to look out for this vehicle because this guy is up to no good. He's trying to set someone up. And he did. I firmly believe that this person tried to set me up. So, when you're pulling up to the merchant's house, if you're going to park your vehicle in the driveway, try not to block the driveway completely. Because I've been in silly situations where, I'm blocking the driveway and then suddenly someone comes home and it's just like, oh, you do not want to do that. That can cost you stars. That could cost you an extra tip, recommendations, whatever. You could really irritate someone by blocking their driveway. I would suggest not pulling into their driveway at all if you don't have to. If it's raining, they could understand that, the merchant or the customer. And, you want to pull as close to the door as possible because they don't want to get their product wet as well. Same thing if it's snowing or if it's too windy, just considering the weather. And you want to pull into the driveway, of course, if the driveway is long. In my case, I'm mostly in the woods. The driveways can be up to 700 feet away from the house. I mean, it gets dreadful sometimes because sometimes you have to pull in and the only way you can make a broken U-turn is if their vehicle wasn't at that particular spot. So you have to go rewind, in dark, in situations where it's dark as well. So it gets a little tricky with the whole parking situation. But, you want to avoid parking in handicap spots when you're pulling into pavilions or, just big parking lots. You don't want to block people in. You want to stay out of their way. There's situations where there's garage units adjacent from the actual building. So I try not to block any of those garage units because with my luck sometimes people just happen to choose that one garage unit to want to access. And maybe they do it purposely sometimes. I don't know. But, you want to stay away as much as possible and try not to leave your car running if you don't have to. It saves a lot of gas when you don't turn your car off. If you keep turning your car on and off, on and off, on and off, yeah, you're going to burn through a significant more amount of gas. I've already tried this theory, tested this theory with my daughter. I brought her with me. She's old enough to chill in the car for a minute while I run in and run out. And, I have her lock the door, and that saved a lot of gas. I put this to the test versus turning your car on and off, on and off. And, just having to find parking in certain areas, yeah, that's going to take away from your time. Eventually, those seconds add up, just like the pennies and the dollars you do when you're dashing. I recommend everyone that dashes has mace on them, bear mace, whatever mace you need to have, because you're not only protecting yourself from people, you're protecting yourself from animals as well. You never know what animal you're going to bump into. Now, this is considering you live in the woods like I do. Any other protections? I've looked at the limitations here in Virginia, and I know exactly what I can and can't carry on me to protect myself and my property, my car. Again, because you never know. Now, if you're naive to think that it can never happen to you, you have to consider the fact that it can, right? Statistically, it can. I've seen it. I've been a victim of crime when people held me up for my belongings. And not only that, you want to be able to protect yourself because when the cops are minutes away, you have seconds to make a decision. And the cops cannot get there fast enough. So you want to at least be ready to avoid all circumstances. If someone is attacking you or whatever, you don't need to sit there and fight. Just get in your car and book it and leave and call the authorities immediately. Just prevent every single thing you could possibly do. I can go down a list because I'm going to do tons of videos and eventually I'll get to a list of things that you can actually do. But this is just a preliminary warning to all the dashers out there as far as attire and being safe. There's a reason why you should wear the proper attire and be visible. That goes for just being out in the dark as well. You want to be visible. You don't want to sneak up on anyone. It's a dangerous situation. In Virginia, people carry. You could get shot. This is not a joke. Like you can be on the wrong property at the right time when you're supposed to be at the right address, but you're at the wrong address and something dramatic happens. That should be avoidable at all costs. And one of the ways to avoid this situation, even getting the cops called on you, is wear the proper attire. And if you don't want to wear red, because it is your choice, I'm not saying that you have to, at least look decent, and visible again. Because if you're wearing black like I'm wearing right now and you're dashing at night, that could be really dangerous, man. You could startle the wrong person, go on the property, get attacked. You just never know. And, with being safe when you're going on to someone's door, don't get so close to the door. Make sure you're visible for the person to see what you have, not all up in their peephole like, hello. You want to give them room so they can feel comfortable, like, okay, this guy's not just trying to bombard my house, because that does happen as well. I don't like standing in front of the glass doors, especially if it has a swing open. I step back at least 5 to 6 feet. And if someone ever asks you to go into the house, and don't do it. I've had one lady ask me that. She said, come on in. And I'm like, I'm not required to do that, first of all, and I'm not doing that. And she got really upset and started yelling at me through the door. But the thing is that I don't care what the other dasher does. Like, the other dashers always come in and I take care of them. It's like, I'm not coming into your house, period. And neither should you. No one should be going into anyone's property. No one should be reaching in your vehicle for the product that they ordered, and without express permission, for sure. And you should never be reaching in for any reason or stepping into someone else's house. It's unnecessary, unless that could be tricky, because a lady could want like a big case of water upstairs or in the garage. And, you find yourself in situations sometimes where, you want to do the right thing, but is it worth doing the right thing? Is it worth that 5-star review for a potential 5-star review versus you getting snatched up when you walk into someone's house and get completely set up? Even with all the technology, it doesn't matter if your mama knows where you're at. Again, when those seconds count, you could be gone like that. And that's just being realistic with all my fellow dashers out there. I love my people in general. And when I say my people, I mean all people, humans, pets, animals, whatever. But I want to see people do well. We can make a lot of money doing the third-party service, especially when people are sick, when people have DUIs, when people just don't have a vehicle, when people just don't feel like getting out of bed. They don't feel like doing anything. So there's a lot of value that this service provides. But as a business owner, because that's what you are now, you have to take care of yourself and your property and your person and your things. You have to take care of it. And one of the fundamental ways to keep yourself safe, and I can't stress it enough, is by actually being visibly available for that naked eye to see what you're representing. Because I've been approached by people on my door when I've ordered Doordash, and I felt completely uncomfortable. Because I've ordered things where you have to provide ID, whether it's medicine, alcohol, cigarette, whatever someone's got. I've never delivered cigarettes, and I don't smoke cigarettes anymore, at least. But you have these weirdos walking up to your door. His fingernails were freaking disgusting. I was just like, that's the first thing I look at when someone's handling anything that has to do with me and a transfer, a tangible transfer. I look at their hands, and this dude's hands, this is the second time he's come to my door, and it looks filthy. And his girlfriend is downstairs smoking a cigarette on my property, just like, oh, honey, we got you. It's like, dude, this is like so inappropriate right now, everything that's going on, because you guys are representing a business, first of all, okay? And not only that, you're representing yourselves, and you're embarrassing yourself. So, and again, I didn't feel comfortable with that guy. He looked dirty. I felt like I had to, have something on me the next time I order DoorDash, because you never know. We are living in a crazy world. So you guys stay safe out there. Happy dashing. I'm going to have I'll try to have videos every day. You know, I really try my best to get information out there as fast as it comes, but you know, life happens. So again, you guys stay safe and look for more. This is VFR Radio, Everything Radio. We talk about everything from politics to religion to DoorDash to restaurants. Mainly aiming for restaurants because I am a restaurant specialist. This is what I do. And it has been a privilege and an honor to have a third party service like DoorDash to give me the opportunity to actually go out there and get paid to see all these different venues, restaurants, businesses, how people run their businesses, the same companies that are ran differently in different areas. So it's been a heck of an experience. So again, you guys stay safe and happy dashing.